Welcome to my extended pantry. It is a mess and we are going to sort it out.
The first part of getting my pantry organised was to accept the fact that I needed more shelving to have everything organised in a way that I wanted to. But I didn't want to put that shelving together until after my rental inspection. I didn't want to have a big mess to clean up right before the inspection. And also, I didn't want to have to answer any questions about my food preservation or why I am preserving food. I just didn't want to have to deal with anything like that. So now that my inspection was done and dusted, it was time to put together the shelves that I had recently bought from Bunnings. They were about $42. They'd gone up a little bit with inflation, but not too drastically. I'm thinking I might need to get another shelf or two down the track to actually just take the shelving out of it so I can make each shelf more efficient in terms of stacking preserved jars, because I don't want to be stacking them on top of each other. There is a lot of stuff that needs to get put away, and my little assistant fell asleep on the job. I had already stored a lot of things in these theoretically food safe buckets from Bunnings, which aren't airtight at all. Even with the gamma lid, they just don't fit properly and you can't get a good seal on them. So it was time to go through everything again. It is after midnight and I'm still in chaos, but I'm slightly more organized on this side, and what I'm doing is going down and writing down everything that I have and the quantity and the weight of everything. And I have done that before, but it kind of got a bit muddled up because I had to start stashing things in cupboards so that I didn't have everything everywhere for my rental inspection. And I didn't want them to see how much food I've got, because I didn't want to seem insane. And I know those of you who like to preserve your own food, or who like to have a little bit of stockpile for insurance purposes, or those of you who are preppers will understand why I have this much food. But I just, didn't want to be explaining that on a rental assessment. Anyway, so what I've done, so all of this stuff is counted. I haven't actually counted. This is my kind of not the toilet paper, but these boxes and the water are part of my emergency evacuation stuff. So if a bushfire rolls through, we grab some of that, except I need to go through that again. But, for the time being, that can stay there. And the pumpkins, they'll go soon enough once I have time to cook them up and pop them in the freezer. But these are all the dehydrated things that I've been working on. So all the citrus, all the veggies, and the lemon rinds and all of that sort of thing. And then those are all empty jars. This one is part of my birthday present from my mum. Apparently someone had bought them for their daughter or family member and they didn't want them, so my mum scored a whole bunch of them for, I think, fairly inexpensively, and they're unopened. These are boxes of gluten-free pasta, and there's some rice noodles up there, and just some snacks here. And I mean, something I have learned about this is that I am really needing a list, because this is all snacks. So when you watch prepping videos or pantry preparedness videos or extended pantry videos, whatever you want to call it, everyone always says when they do a pantry challenge or they go through hard times like a loss of job, or when they've gone through previous recessions and things like that, and they rely on their pantry to kind of get them through and reduce the financial strain at that time, that they always wish they had more snacks. And I think I took it too literally. And because I had all the candy and snacks and things like that hidden in different cupboards and different boxes and jammed in different places, I didn't realize how much I had, and I battled to fit it into these two buckets. And I mean, obviously I've still got roll-ups and low snack biscuits in here. So I mean, if I get through this by the time they expire in the middle of next year, then something is desperately wrong with me, and I'm gonna have all kinds of diabetes. So the plan is so far to just have all the long-term insurance food in the Mylar bags on the bottoms. And so I've got to fill up that one with Mylar bags. These two are Mylar bags, and I need to go through and weigh everything. I had to get something out of my first aid kit the other day, and it needs to get reorganized. And then, as you can see, this is all like my cooking equipment. But these boxes now are pretty empty. So I just need to kind of go through and reorganize everything. And I've got my emergency bag here, except it needs reorganizing. I've got Rafa's little bush walking backpack in there. And I got this cool new bag, which I wanted because I have healthcare experience. My first aid kit is rather extensive. Sorry, Rafi, I just woke you up, darling. And so I like to have a lot of first aid supplies because I know how to use a lot of them. And so I thought this is kind of a cool addition and a way to organize them. So I still have to do that. And plus, I don't want to buy a new backpack just on the off chance that we have to get out of here quickly because there's a bushfire. We are surrounded on all sides by bush, except for the waterfront. And there are only 2 roads out of where we live, and they're all surrounded by bush. So, yeah. So if we have to get out, we're going to have to go in a hurry. So I wanted to be able to just grab everything and get going. But my backpack that I have for, general hiking and traveling purposes is not big enough to fit stuff for me and the dog and have my medical equipment. Plus, I'm medically rather broken, so I need more stuff with me. So I thought this might be a cool way, because then I could maybe carry this on my front and the other one on my back, and then everything's sorted. So, to be determined. But it's now about 12:30 p.m. and it's time to go to bed and deal with this all in the morning, because somebody likes to wake up at dawn. I don't think I explained this section. So these are dried sardines, dried kangaroo tails, backup poo bags, freeze-dried pork testicles. These are an Australian company, meal toppers for dogs. So you can add these on top of kibble to make your dogs healthier, or you can add it as part of a raw feeding diet. And I've got some dried mushrooms up the back there. They are for Rafa. And the reason I bought those at Costco is because I hate mushrooms with a violent, fiery passion. And he doesn't mind them. And they're actually really good for dogs. So rather than buying a pack fresh regularly at the supermarket and him not getting through an entire pack before they go dodgy, I thought he could eat some dried ones. And so what I thought I might do is yes, it needs to be reorganized, but kind of have my emergency evacuation stuff and my first aid kits here, so that if we need to get out and hurry, I don't need to be looking through the shelves for what did I need to bring. It's just grab this, and let's go. Although the chances of a bushfire occurring in a third La Nina cycle are fairly limited. I really need to actually jar all of these up properly. So picking up where we left off yesterday, because we don't have a sleeping puppy in the corner today, I can actually get back into that corner and sort everything out. I've got still more things to put into Mylar bags that I didn't get done yesterday. We've got first aid kits to sort out. We have got a general mess to clean up, and just kind of a reorganization of everything. I have packed 2 of these big barrels last night, and I've still got a couple more to go. I just need to reorganize stuff. In terms of preparedness and things like that, and having an extended pantry, because the world we live in and the world we're going into are not as smooth as what we have had. I have got, as I've mentioned before, food in various areas of the house. A lot of it I have now brought into here to sort out. But there is some in the pantry in the kitchen, which I'm obviously not going to bring in here and sort out. I recently sorted all of that out. And there's a few other bits and bobs that
I'm just going to leave where they are, and I'm not going to tally up the amounts of food in those areas because I can't be bothered to unpack them all, so that will be a job for another day. But today we just need to finish in here. I am going out for pizza for dinner, and apparently the bioluminescence is back, so hopefully it'll still be there tonight. I need to go down and check this afternoon for the pink algae. I've never seen the bioluminescence before. I'd be really excited to see it. It is basically at night where the pink algae kind of glows blue, and so the waves have this beautiful glow to them. So I'm hopeful that we can go and see that tonight. But for that to happen, we need to get things done. It is already halfway through the day, and I've wasted all of this morning trying to get my computer to work and taking you for walks, hey? And doing training, but most of it just trying to get my computer to work. And so if you're watching videos on this channel and there's like an unusual chunk of time with no videos, you can bet your bottom dollar that my computer is playing up and won't let me upload or edit videos. And it is not a space problem on the computer, it is just the computer trying to ruin my life. So, you know, these things happen, but let's get on with it.
The goal was to work out what I had, exactly what I had, seeing I had suddenly realized that I'd grossly overpurchased snacks. I needed to unpack each and every box and each and every food safe bucket and just write down exactly what I had, how much it weighed, and how many of them I had. And I'm going to put this together on a big spreadsheet so I can keep an eye on roughly what I've got in a bit more of an organized fashion. I highly doubt that I'll be organized enough to cross things off as I remove them, but I just want to have a bit of an idea of what I've got. There are a number of things, like the things in this bucket, that need to be used within a year, and I just need to keep an eye on what I've actually got. These were freeze-dried items I bought to try and see if it was worth having a freeze dryer. As you can see, I haven't opened them yet. I am ordering a freeze dryer anyway. It arrives soon, so I'm pretty excited. There were a few things that needed to get stored away in Mylar bags, and I always try and fill up the same size Mylar bags because I only have 400 and 500 cc oxygen absorbers. So I try and save my 500s for these larger bags, and I try and do a whole bunch of bag sealing all in one go to make it worthwhile. I try and work as fast as I can. I pre-seal them, and then I stick the oxygen absorbers in there, and I clip seal the bags while I'm pressing out all the air, and then I come back and use my hair straightener to squish closed the last little bit of the bags. But I mean, I find this to be quite stressful because there is a little exposure marker that comes in each bag, and it always seems to go purple really, really quickly. And I always feel like I haven't squished out enough oxygen, but there's only so much you can do with powders and one person and trying to keep your dog out of it and trying to move as fast as you physically can. So, I mean, I just do the best I can, and I guess sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Once I have finished sealing everything, I generally place the bags somewhere out of the way. Number one, to keep the dog off them, but also so that they're out of the way and I can just let them sit there for a little while. On this occasion, it happened that my brain died and I did put an oxygen absorber in a bag of salt, and so what I did was quickly open that up and pop that in a much smaller bag and reseal it. And then I resealed the salt up without an oxygen absorber. I think there was one other one that I might have done as well, but you know, sometimes when you do these things late at night, it just doesn't work out in your favor. But being a one-person household, there is a limit to the amount of time I have to do all the things like food preservation, gardening, working, dealing with the dog. I know everyone's in that position, but I have been struggling a little bit lately. I sometimes just feel having a second person would make things so much easier, even if they only helped out a little bit. I do think a lot about how blessed I was to sell my business when I did. It's given me this chance to have this time to be learning so much about food preservation and to prepare for potentially harder times ahead. So I do feel extreme gratitude about the timing of how things have worked out. It is the next morning and I've come in to check how everything looks. And some things look fantastic and some things just look less pillow-like, which based on my experience with the oxygen absorber last night, I'm just going to leave them and just fingers crossed that it works out. But it does annoy me when it's not shrink wrapped. What I did was I placed them in the order in which they were sealed. So of this first 10, these ones were sealed last and had the oxygen absorber put in last. These ones were sealed first with the oxygen absorbers. So I thought I would just see whether that made any difference on how vacuum sealed they were, like whether that would give me an indication of whether I'm just somehow moving too slow even though I can't move any faster, but it doesn't seem to have made any difference. There do seem to be some packs where there are some crinkle marks on them where they haven't shrunk as much. But yeah, I think some of it is just that in my haste to to seal them up, is that I'm not pushing out enough air, although I am trying. But, you know, there's only so many hands you have. And I feel like that little, the little gauge of how exposed your oxygen absorbers have been, it turns purple so fast, and that makes me panic and probably do things too quickly. But all looks good. But I'm just going to leave it here for another day or so and let it kind of do its thing. Hey guys, welcome back to the finished pantry. It has been about 200 days since we were last in here together, but I finished it finally, and I thought I would show you around. It's not normally this light in here. I've just opened the blind so you guys can actually see. So we'll start off over here with the tour with Rafa. So the black bag is his food, my food, and clothing for an evacuation procedure. And then we have this first aid kit bag, which also has some other essentials in there, and some stuff for So Breaks a Lot here. This bag is the first time I've used it. We ordered it on Amazon and it's amazing. And I'm all about secret compartments, and this bag has like a billion secret compartments in it. So I'm going to go online and see if I can get it in a different color. But if you guys want me to do like a little tour of my first aid kit, then let me know. So if we start over on the new section of shelving, so you can see there's definitely some empty shelving. So these are all empty jars. So just a preface, the bottom level has a big tub full of Mylar bag prepared food on all levels, just because I find that the food gallon buckets, like say what we've got in here, don't actually fit a lot, and so these ones have wound up empty. There's a couple of empty ones in there actually, because they just don't fit Mylar bags well, and you don't want to ruin them having paid for the bag. So I find that these big boxes actually pack the Mylar bags better. So you'll see along the bottom of all the shelves, including on this side, we have got food in Mylar bags. So then I have some sauces and canned food from Costco. The canned food was actually in my niece's cupboard before, and that is now food free. Then we've got tomato paste, diced tomatoes in abundance, and then there is non-Mylar packed gluten-free pasta, which is what I will be living off. I don't know if this is a year's supply, I doubt it, but it should be pretty close to, because I don't eat pasta all the time. But I'm looking forward to actually going back to gluten-free pasta. I didn't think I would be. I finished the celiac challenge this week, and while the probiotics have stopped me from dying like I normally would eating wheat, I actually found that I missed my gluten-free products. I feel fuller and heavier and a bit more like stodgy with wheat. So these are things like gluten-free snacks,
And then this is whipping cream. And this, what is this? I forget what this is. Huh. A gluten-free whipping cream packet, which Rafa is trying to eat. No, I have that back. So again, as I said, these ones are all empty jars. Hi, buddy. And then on top of that, we've got all the dried fruit and veg that I've been experimenting with. So we've got a lot of kiwi, and I just did a bit more last night. You like kiwi? We've got carrots. We've got lemons, limes, oranges. I just gave some of the lemons to a friend yesterday, so there's less here than there was before. We've got a whole bunch of paper towels, particular pasta sauce that I like that I'm splurging on while I'm still eating wheat. More empty jars and a couple of prepped jars. This whole top level is basically dog stuff. We've got a whole mess of pumpkins for when Rafi inevitably eats things that he's not supposed to eat. We've got his freeze-dried meal toppers, which I haven't actually gotten around to starting yet. But they're all things that are really great for dogs, and I thought would be great for rainy day savings. But seeing I'm getting my own freeze dryer, that's not as important now. We've got the dehydrated mushrooms, which I bought for him at Costco because I hate mushrooms and I didn't want to waste a whole pack. Some dog shampoo, and then these are a lot of his dried treats. So kangaroo tails, sardines, things like that. Pig's ears, I think, are in there. Here is his little backpack, which he has to start to wear and get some practice with. And then this is, I think, a beware of dog sign. But these are puppy training pads, which he actually grew out of quite quickly. But I did buy, I think I bought 2 more, or this is leftover from when he was initially toilet training. But I definitely bought this one when they were talking about doing his hip dysplasia surgery, because he would have basically been bedbound for 12 weeks. So I was prepped for that. So I've just hung on to them in case, you know, this accident-prone boy has an accident. Or last time we got them out during the flood level rains, just in case he didn't want to go outside. But he did. He wasn't that worried. He likes the water, which is how he keeps banging up his paws. Yesterday he banged himself up again and cut his paw open at the beach, having just had a week off from his last beach accident. But these are kind of extra bug out boxes. So this allows us to take a little bit more with us. Yes, we won't be able to carry it for long, but they've got little handles on top. And I thought in most instances when we're bugging out, we're going to be doing so via car. So it's good to actually just have a little bit extra prepped. So all of my cans are things that you can open without a can opener. There's like socks and water treatment, liquid in, sanitary materials, toilet paper, muesli bars, things like that. And for him, he has most definitely got some antihistamines. And we got like leftover puppy food and some pig's ears and things like that. As soon as the freeze dryer comes, I am going to freeze dry him some quality food. He's a raw fed dog at the moment because I'm still trying to work out his tummy and itchiness situation. And so I don't actually want him back on this stuff because I think this contributed to his hip dysplasia, making him grow too quickly because it's all full of rubbish. But, you know, in an emergency situation, that's what he's going to get if we have to leave imminently, which we won't have to, hopefully, because of La Nina. And then we got some water to go. So in the actual evac bag, we have got kibble for him, which, again, he's not eating kibble at the moment. So if he had to eat any of this stuff, he'd get diarrhea really quickly. So it would be unfortunate. So that's why I want to make him freeze-dried meal packs that all I have to do is add water or nothing at all. So you can see we've got little pop-up doggy bowls. And then these are just mostly empty boxes. This one is full of the Mylar bags. And this one just has a couple of odds and ends like matches and garbage bags that need to be put away. Okay, so if we come over to the other side, we got a stash of toilet paper and sanitary items and fire starters and things like that, which I just used most of my fire starters because we've just come out of winter. I'm just going to step back and hopefully not step on the dog. But you can see we've got a whole stack of canning equipment. So basically all of this and this section is cooking equipment, just because it's so hard to fit them in the shelves in most kitchens. So we've got a KitchenAid, we've got a food saver, a slow cooker, I got a pressure canner, which I haven't used yet. I'm scared I'm going to give myself botulism. Apparently my mum has bought me one for Christmas. Then I've got like the KitchenAid attachments and the Thermomix attachments. This is the pot I just bought at Costco, which I just realised is the same size as this. But I'll make all my soups in that one. And then I've got all the like little odds and ends, like a juicer and a NutriBullet and a Thermomix. And then we come over to actually having stuff. So almost every box, I swear, feels like it has dampers in it because of La Nina. So we've just got a whole stack of cleaning products and soaps here. Obviously, canning equipment. And then this isn't packed to the rafters. This is just kind of neatly organised. This is mostly things like, you want to get out, buddy? This is like dried mangoes, sunflower seeds, which he eats, and linseeds, which he eats, and freeze-dried strawberries and cocoa powder and some gluten-free donut mix. So it's all things that I need to use in the next 12 months. Then we've got some juices and hand sanitizers and soft drinks down here along with our Mylar bags. We have got a whole stack of puppy along with our sandwich bags, Glad wrap, aluminium foil, baking paper, all that sort of thing. A ton of first aid equipment. As I said, I work in healthcare, so I have a lot of stuff. So it's not just Band-Aids and eye drops and water purifying drops. There is a resus bag in there and resus masks and things like that. And then this is kind of more of an everyday boo-boos first aid kit. And this is herbs, spices and things like that. You're a bit crazy. A couple of stray sauces, onion powder. This is just my battery pack and the recharge, cables and everything. And then this is mostly like, again, things I'm going to use this year. And it's in a dark box to keep the light off it because it's not in Mylar bags. And it's things like gluten-free flours, a gluten-free custard mix, egg replacer, couscous, hemp seeds, which he eats, lentil rice, sunflower, pumpkin seeds, and Brazil nuts, which are all for Rafa, and some tacos for me. And then we've just got some more cleaning products and garbage bags down there. So this is our pantry. We hope you've enjoyed the tour. If you have any questions about what we have, or you'd like to see what's inside the first aid bag, then let us know. Thanks for watching.